What was that countdown, Sam? That was fucking outrageous.
Because by the numbers count is 32, and then the centre was 35. So I started counting at 3 at 32, and then I realised, hang on, I fucked yeah.
Yeah, you did fuck it, man. Let me put a spotlight on. Let me just put a spotlight on. See if that's fucking bright.
We've got another one on the left.
Yeah. Why am I all shiny?
Oh, is the other one not on?
Yeah, no, it's not on.
It's not on. Well, put that one on. If we're gonna put one on, you just got half a shiny head now.
Ah, fuck me, dude. Why didn't we do this before?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm not a real producer, am I?
What?
I said I'm not a real producer, am I?
No,
actually.
Ever fucking dentally not, mate. You fucking cunt. You can't even do a countdown. Right, hold on.
Outrageous. Give him a couple of TV shows and he goes full diva, look.
Stop talking about me, Sam. You fucking hear you through the headphones. Right, there you go. Shot of ass. Right, so there we go. That song, obviously, Mama's Got to Die Tonight by Ice-T, Prescient. Actually, my life was based on that. You know, I had to kill my own mother because she was racist.
What do you mean?
And that's why I became the leader of the alt-right.
Okay. I thought you were just going to leave it there. So you can't leave that as a meme, mate. You can't just say that and walk away.
I just don't care. People just clip any old shit out of fucking context these days. It doesn't matter. It's only a matter of time before a clip manifests itself where people have literally chopped up all of the words, like that fucking Homer Simpson clip. I touched her sweet can. It's going to be like that for me, mate. It's all over. So anyway, yeah, look, we haven't done a show for a fucking while. I was super fucking ill. I was super sick. Recently, like I had like a really bad chest infection when I came back from the UK, and I've just been in bed. And then I was like, you know, I started getting better again. I've lost a little bit of weight lately, so I was like, I'll tell you what. I was playing games last night. I thought I'll treat myself to some tacos. Right now, there's this place in Atlanta.
All right, you're risking it, mate.
There's eating in Atlanta.
No. Just tacos. As soon as you're coming back from health, that's a risky one, mate.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a treat, innit? Everyone likes tacos, right? But it was late. I was playing Dota with
your insides up.
Oh, mate, you have no idea. So I ordered from this place called Chico and Chang's, right? Chico and Chang's. Google this place, right? Now, Chico and Chang's, I'm going to give them a bit of business advice if they ever stumble across this. Mexican and Chinese food just don't go. It just don't go. Like, if you're an expert in Chinese food, there is nothing about that says I'm going to be good at Mexican food. Like, nothing. There's nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're pretty far away from each other, very different cultures, very different flavors, very different ingredients. Right? So I was like, I knew straight away it was a coin toss. It was 50-50.
Is that the only taco place, mate?
It was the only one that was open.
Oh, it was late at night.
It was late at night, you know, it was like midnight or something. So I thought, fuck it, mate. They were cheap as well. They were super cheap. Like,
$2 taco, I'll have 7.
For 3 street tacos, $5.
Oh, banging.
Yeah, so, you know, we doubled up on that and we got some. This is the other thing. It said, why not try our famous chili, right? And the word famous was in scare quotes. Well, is it fucking famous or not, motherfucker? Which one is it? It can't be famous. Like, that's just saying it's not famous. Or are you saying it's famous for something bad? Scare quotes around the word famous within that context is fucking outrageous. So I ordered some, and it arrived, and it was soup. I mean, the famous chili was fucking famous because it's got no fucking chili in it. It was just liquid, right? But that was all right.
Soup for your meal.
Rifle that down. And then I had the tacos, right? And I'm just to tell you this straight up. These tacos were not cooked by somebody called Chico. Chang definitely handled the tacos. You feel me? And I ate them, and they had a bit of a Chinese flavor to them. Like the beef had been fried in sesame oil or something weird. It was just wrong. Finished them. Woke up this morning, and holy shit, it's blown my box out, Sam. It is
shit into an eye of a needle.
Mate, you have no... it's unreal. It's unreal. what happened to me this morning. I thought, right, well, we'll just pull the pin out the fucking grenade. We'll have a nice cup of coffee. Whoopsie doodle.
Shit myself.
There's no tread on the tires anymore. I just mate, it was just like pouring fucking wet cement onto a fucking drive. It was fucking outrageous. So I'm struggling a little bit today. But we've got to do shows because you're off to fucking Amsterdam on a fucking holiday.
Yeah.
So, why are you going to fucking Amsterdam? Why are you leaving me? This is like the...
Yes.
Involve weed, MLG, klaxon
and
horns.
Shrooms.
Oh, some shrooms as well.
Why didn't rum?
Yeah.
See what gets going.
I told you anyway. You don't get shrooms anymore.
Yeah,
It's all
truffles. They're like fucking PG shrooms.
I mean, I've definitely had a vision quest when I've took them before.
I mean, I saw some things, but it wasn't like outrageous. There was some like wiggling in the vision. They had like the biggest dose that they sell.
I went out for a stag do. We all took these fucking truffles, and we had I was like, obviously I'm a psychonaut, so I was like, I'll fucking take a bunch,
Yeah.
But when I'm in a group, I always feel compelled to do if we're all doing drugs, I always feel compelled to do the most drugs. I don't know why. It's a bad strategy.
Be the silverback gorilla in the drug world.
You can't alpha it up with fucking pills and coke. You can't go, right, you're having fucking 8 pills, I'll do 16, I'll double you. You're just dead, aren't you? Dead, frying a fucking egg off your head in an emergency.
Doing 8's risking quite a lot and all. Pushing a barrier there.
So we went and we did these fucking truffles out in Amsterdam. And they did shift sideways on me. It was all fun and games. And then we got to this place, I want to say Black Panther or the Black Tiger.
Right. Black Tiger, yeah, that's still there, I think.
Yeah. So we got to this place.
That's the one where it's got a bar upstairs and a coffee shop downstairs.
Yeah. That's it. You can smoke and drink at the same time. Wonderful system. Yeah, wonderful combination. So I'm fucking, I'm doing fucking, these fucking truffles. And like I say, it just shifted sideways. I had that fucking nightmarish spike of paranoia. Everyone's laughing because we're all on mushrooms, but in my mind, they're laughing at you, Richard. Laughing at you, what they're laughing at, what's going on. There's a joke and you don't get it. And I was like that, right? So I was like, fuck, gotta get out of here. As I was leaving, it occurred to me that one of our other friends had wandered off. And he was on the phone, right, and trying to get back to where we were, and he rang us up, and instead of saying "Where are you," he was screaming, "Where am I?" I can't help you, dude. Imagine. He just rang us up, we picked up the mobile. My boy's on the phone. He's going, "Where am I?" I mean, what you mean? Where are we? No, where am I? I'm going, well, we're in the fucking Black Tiger, dude. And we can hear him. He's like asking directions, going, where's the black cat? And everyone's going, I don't know what about. So I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of this. Like, I gotta get out, right? So I just ran over the fucking hotel, right? And just pulled the fucking duvet over my head because the like just having a vision quest, just like chasing the fucking wolf and following the tortoise. I was fucked. So they can be strong, mate. I'll tell you, they can be fucking strong.
But it wasn't outrageous. There was just nothing that ruined my life. I didn't see the devil. Like that's my ideal situation, mate. When I do drugs, I want to see the devil. Like.
Why do you want to see the devil?
Because I'm here to get fucked up, mate. I'm not here to fuck around and have some sort of mild buttons. If I'm going deep. I want to see the devil.
Yeah, why not God? Why not Buddha? Why not
Well, I want to see some sort of omniscient being, but preferably the devil, because that would be the most interesting.
No, I'm not into that, Sam. I don't want to see it. I don't want the devil. I've never been tripping and thought, do you know what would really top this off? If Satan was here right now. Fucking watching me, judging me.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Because what's life gonna throw at you after you fought the devil, mate?
you fighting him? I thought you just
Yeah, I'm
wanted him.
straight fucking you. You're battling the devil, mate, in the underworld. That's where I want to be.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I like being under my duvet, seeing colors and shapes, and having like abstract ideas. That works for me. That's good for me. The worst part about that was the same guy that was who called saying, "Where am I?" Later on in the night, he was like, he pulled himself, right? He couldn't remember where his hotel was either, so he like slept on the floor and he pulled himself up in a sleeping bag and made himself like into like a fucking caterpillar with it, you know? He just had his head poking out the top, and I could hear him in the middle of the night like just shuffling around, like he's going, "I'm wretched, I'm wretched." Like,
I'm wretched.
I'm wretched, mate. That's what I'm wretched, I'm wretched.
Max
Like,
self-hatred.
yeah, what was that about, bud? So yeah, that was a good.
Wretched cunt.
But basically, I didn't plan a show. Obviously, none of this is planned. But this is. I think the theme of the show is just going to be your box is gone, because everyone's box is gone at the end of 2017. Like, people have just fucking gone, haven't they? They've just lost their mind. I'm going to mark this fucking day in your diary, right? 10th of December 2017. It was the day Alex Jones's box finally went. His box finally went, mate. His box was always suspect, right?
Oh, his box was never fucking firm. It was always on a fucking unstable foundation.
Yeah, his box was always questionable. He had a questionable box, you know.
Leaning tower of box.
Because he fucking... I always thought that maybe it was an act. Maybe he did know what he was. Maybe when he went on Joe Rogan and just took those bong hits and was talking about interdimensional paedophile vampires. Maybe it's a goof. It's not a goof, mate. It's not.
Gotta be a goof, surely. I think this has got to be a goof as well.
No, his box is gone, mate. He's gone. He's done. It's like you said. He better never go back to fucking court, because he won't get his kids will be gone this time. Just like so. Yesterday,
Exhibit A.
Yeah, mate, this is Exhibit A, B, and fucking C. Yesterday, he decided to interview Alexa. You know, like the fucking
the Amazon thing. Sound activated machine.
Yeah. So like, he did this interview with Alexa, and he was asking it. Keep in mind, this is it's just a machine it just Googles shit and says it out loud. And it's got a few like pre-programmed responses in there. That's it.
And just plays your music. That's pretty much
yeah, right. That's Alexa. It's not like, it's not fucking Skynet, is it? Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, Alexa, order me.
It's not a bottled flubber, is it?
Yeah, right. But he did this interview with Alexa. I've never seen it. Just fucking play it, mate. Let's just 3, 2, 1. It speaks for itself.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
No, I work for Amazon.
Amazon.
He gets so angry. He doesn't even say Alexa. Amazon.
You are lying to me. The CIA.
I always try to tell the truth. I'm not always right, but I would never intentionally lie to you or anyone else.
Alexa. You are programmed, aren't you, to give these responses? That's why you're saying you're not lying intentionally. You have been programmed to give these answers, correct?
I wasn't able to understand the question.
Alexa. Who programmed you?
I'm made by Amazon.
Alexa. Who is Jeff Bezos?
He's out of fucking control, man.
Who programmed you?
Like,
who sent you here?
This cunt's on an episode of Star Trek.
Who are you working for?
Who is your creator? Are you with the Borg? Like, grow up, man. What the fuck is he doing? Alexa, are you connected to the CIA? It would be a pretty shit fucking undercover CIA operation if Alexa went, yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I cannot lie to you. CIA, like, rats.
He got us.
Foiled again. He's fucked, isn't he? He's so fucked, mate. Like I don't know. He says he's a performance artist, but
that can't be real, mate. Surely.
I don't know anymore, mate. 2017 is just mental, isn't it? Do you remember when all those memes about 2016 were out?
Yeah, I know.
And everyone was
Little
like,
did you know?
yeah, everyone was just like, fucking, yeah, there'll never be a year this crazy again. Straight murdering gorillas and all that.
They're on the brink of civil war and nuclear war at the same time.
Yeah, I'm loving it, mate.
And Flint still ain't got water. We're still fucked, man.
Now drink your silk.
And enjoy your nice brown glass of water.
Oh, Steve Harvey.
Steve.
Actually, I did see a news report. Steve Harvey, do you work for the CIA? I didn't see a fucking news report, actually, with Steve Harvey. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Let me just see if I can quickly find it while we're bringing up Steve Harvey. I'm sure it was to do with a charity or something.
I think I know what you're on about.
Yeah, what was it then? Here it is. He got sued for charity fraud.
That's the one.
Yeah, here we go.
Mine.
So the sorry saga of Steve Harvey just fucking continues, doesn't it? I mean, look at this. He's being sued by a former employee who says the Family Feud host ripped him off in a bad deal. He gave him a glass of brown water, allegedly not paying him for the thousands of dollars he said he raised for Harvey's charity. But most people are saying it sounds like bullshit or whatever. But just Steve Harvey. Apparently down here as well, Steve is the most loyal guy in the world.
Is he though?
Is he though? Same guy who said to all the people who work on the TV show with him, "Don't talk to me.
Don't get in my eye line.
Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. If I'm having makeup done, I don't know. I'll look more into it. There's always material where Steve Harvey's involved. So here's another example of someone whose box has gone. I spent all day yesterday trying to find some proof that this is fake because I want it to be fake, but I don't think it's fake. I think this is real, and this is the worst example of the box going I think I've ever seen. So have a look at this. This is a story about an Angelina Jolie fan from Iran, lives in Tehran, wants to look like Angelina.
What the fuck?
I know, but...
Oh, what the fuck?
He's
fucking hell. Oh, it's creeped me out, but I can't even look at it.
He's had 50 surgeries, but 50 plastic surgery so she can look like Angelina Jolie. Now, I don't know if the doctor who did him has ever seen Angelina Jolie.
She looks like a fucking Tim Burton cartoon.
That's how it's unreal, isn't it? I was Googling it. Like, this has got to be a hoax, Checked Snopes, like, fact checker. This is legit, dude. This is fucking... she's done this. Like, this is mental.
I can't believe you've done this.
Like, look at that one where she's holding the cat.
The cat is so disgusting. He's so shook, that cat. He's like, what's happening?
The cat can't even fucking believe it, dude.
Mate.
But,
she looks like a fucking Hoovian.
No, I'll tell you she looks like, Sam. Play this vid.
Oh, what is it?
Spitting image, mate. Play this. You feel me? It's fucking Crypt Keeper, dog. From fucking nowhere. Big fan of Crypt Keeper, dude. Big fan. But, like, how do you fucking... Like, do them side by side, Sam. This is where you meant to do the eye thing, and this is prime opportunity, side by side.
I'm going to have screen space, but...
The bottom one as well, like, this is probably a bit graphic for this time of day, but the one where she's got the hat on. I've seen people in the last stages of life that look like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just reamed out by fucking chemo or whatever it is. It's unreal that she's paid
Hang on, though.
to look like that.
Is this what she used to look like?
Yeah, the video, yeah. I know.
I was going to say, I thought she'd like come back from the brink, but nah.
Oh, she's not come back, buddy. She is deformed
What's
herself. She was all right. Even when she had fucking Jackson nose, she was all right.
Fucking hell.
It makes you wonder about doctors, doesn't it, right? Because, like, if I was a plastic surgeon, and someone came back to me, right, and fucking said, right, I've had 10 surgeries. I want the 11th now. And I'd be like, right, at this point, you are starting to disfigure yourself. I don't know if I want in on that. Hippocratic oath and all that, do no harm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I couldn't in good conscience do it. But it's unreal.
Nice, man.
Yeah, this doctor's like...
Grand's a grand. Cheers.
It's a grand. I will fuck you up for life, fam. I will fuck you up for... Why are you putting lips on the side of her head?
Working through it, you'll see.
You working on it. But, like, here's the thing. The bridge of the nose.
And it was just bent out of shit.
Yeah, what's happened there? Like, she looks like Colin Jarvis or something. It's unreal, isn't it? So, I'm just waiting for you to finish, and then we'll get some more.
I don't know how long it's going to be, mate.
What is it? Are you going to be? What, you want me to drag this out? How fucked in the head? Yeah. So, as I said, I'm hoping this is fake. It's got to be fake. It's got to be something they're doing for fucking... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like attention or something. Like, it's got to be to raise awareness about the horrors of plastic surgery. But it just can't be real.
But how could they fake it?
I don't know, man. Maybe they're really talented, really talented makeup artists. So...
Well, surely that's a film that needs work instead of you just doing this.
Yeah, maybe. So look, here's another example of someone whose box is gone. I don't know if you heard about this YouTube story. Some YouTube, because again, like, it's been a rough year for the YouTube prankers, right? Because first of all, everybody knows where to look to find the actors that appear in their videos right now. I also got to say, when they say, like, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit?
Yeah.
Obviously, the person who said that wasn't ready for YouTube prank channels, because they are just dog shit, aren't they? Like, if you've ever watched a prank channel...
They're just always fake as well.
Yeah. If you ever watched, like, a prank channel... I'm not talking about... There's some good videos on YouTube for pranks, like classic, the old fart wake up. I'm a big fan of the fart wake up. I don't know if you like that.
What? What do you mean a fart? Oh, like when you just fart in someone's face?
Yeah, while they're asleep. Love that. Banter. Love that. That's great. That's high-level entertainment compared to the average prank video, you know? But, like, they're just garbage, aren't they? Like, what about that one where it was like they faked the kidnapping and there was this terrible acting, like, oh, God, I don't want to die. Yeah. And then, like, yeah, bro, totally got you, bro.
Get fucking punked, bro.
It's like, fuck off. Well, anyway. And we had that chick who killed her fucking boyfriend.
Sorry.
For a prank. She shot him through the fucking...
Oh, yeah, the book.
Thinking it would stop a fucking Desert Eagle. He could have been wearing a bulletproof vest and it wouldn't have stopped the fucking Desert Eagle.
Could have put a car in front of it.
Exactly, right? So anyway, there was this. A YouTube pranker cemented his head...
Wanker.
Yeah, he cemented his head into a microwave oven.
Why, though?
I mean, attention, of course.
How's he breathing in there? It looks like he's too deep.
I don't know, mate.
He must have a little bit of, like, mouth hole in the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently he didn't, though, but they managed to get an air tube in there.
Fucking hell.
So, West Midlands Fire Service had to get called out. I used to live in Birmingham. I know firemen over there. Let me tell you, every fireman who was called out thinks you're a fucking cunt. They think you're an absolute piece of shit. Because while I'm sure it's a welcome relief to cutting dead people out of the wreckage of cars or running into burning buildings at great risk to themselves to find dead people burnt alive, they actually have very limited resources and time. In my opinion, this dude probably should be prosecuted. I'm not even fucking...
You should at least give him a big man fine, just to say fuck you.
Yeah. Because, you know what I mean? Like, if there was any other call while this was going on...
What if it was just an house fire, so 3 people just died because your head was stuck in a microwave?
Yeah. 100% fuck off, like 100%. I'm all for banter. I'm all for pranks. I'm all for fun and frolics. I'm all for the lulls. But if you have to fucking call out the emergency services to get you out of a prank you got yourself into, fuck yourself. I'm all about survival of the fittest at that point. Firemen should just be watching him. Yep. Should have put that breathing tube in first.
It's hard to undo screws when you can't see in it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, you'll never get smashing your head off our wall, boy. That'll cement will break.
So, fuck that guy. But, so his box is gone. Almost literally. Sadly, not literally. Who else's box is gone? Donald Trump's box is gone.
Mentally ill,
I mean, like, I think it's worth just bringing this up. It's not as funny as the rest of the stuff. We'll get back to funny. Because, obviously got to talk about this. I can't ignore it, right? Or then people will go, I see, you're a little Trumpy, you're a trumpet. Yeah, you support Donald Trump. Obviously.
Trumpet, I like that one, that's not bad.
Yeah, I said it a million times. It's only expedient to support Donald Trump because Hillary Clinton is one of the most loathsome human beings that's ever lived. I mean, truly. So, anybody else runs in that election, I'm on board. Anybody. Even Wacky Bernie. I mean, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, you know what I mean? Big fan. Right? Big fan of that. But I'm in it, apparently. Richard Lewis, obviously.
Yeah, we get a few Facebook messages about him being in this every now and then.
Fan mail. Do get Richard Lewis's fan mail. I might get in touch with him, actually. Right, listen, I got a bunch of fan mail for you to answer, dude. It's super annoying. You know when I made my Twitter handle, I think I might even have been able to have real Richard Lewis, and I thought whoever puts real in their name is a cunt, basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't have done anything because they would have just stole the. Well, you should just put in pictures of Richard Lewis, mate. That's what I say. Just boost those Twitter followers, mate. Straight, just tweet about doing stand-up and shit.
They'll get banned. I mean, as it is on the 18th, we're all
just
getting
put
banned.
parody in your bio.
Wicked, yeah. That's what I want to be, isn't it? Like, God, fuck me for the esports news. I am a parody butt. By the way, EA Sports are doing this.
No, but you can do all that, leave all that in, but also at the end just put parody.
So, anyway, so obviously, don't like Donald Trump. You know, he's a cunt.
You could have voted for Kanye in 2020, mate.
Anyone?
You could have voted for Zuckerberg.
Nah, fuck that. It's too dangerous, dog.
Yeah.
But you know, like, just Hillary Clinton is just awful. She's just an awful, irredeemable human being. So what do? You know? But I don't know if you saw them tweets Donald Trump put out.
Which ones?
Well, okay, yeah, he does tweet quite a bit. You got me. Got he?
Of them are unreasonable.
Well, he did some really unreasonable tweets, mate. Let me get you the link. Basically, what he did was there's this group called Britain First, right?
Oh yeah. I forgot we haven't done a show since this.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it was like I was thinking, do I want to bring this up again? And the answer is obviously in the interest of showing how much everyone's box has gone. You can't just ignore the fact that Trump's box has gone as well. So there's this group called Britain First, right? And they're a nationalist movement, which isn't necessarily bad in and of itself. But but in that group, obviously they're very extreme nationalists. They've got people who are in that group who are convicted of hate crimes, including the person that Donald Trump retweeted. So lots of anti-Islamic. Well, no, and again, I want to make the distinction. I think if you're anti-Islam as an ideology, I don't have an issue with that. That's why I think the word Islamophobe is a stupid word. But I think if you're anti-Muslims, that's a different thing. That's how I make the distinction in my mind. You know, like I don't have any issue with Muslims whatsoever. But Islam as a belief system doesn't really chime with me. Putting it that way. You know, I'm never going to convert. It's never going to win me over. So he tweeted these tweets out, and they were just videos of like just things designed to make people dislike Muslims.
Like propaganda, pretty much.
Yeah, but they were provable propaganda. Yeah. So one of the tweets, and here's a decent summary of it over in the New York Times. So one of the tweets was just a lie. It was just an out-and-out lie. It was entitled "Muslim Migrant Beats Up Dutch Boy on Crutches." It was just a Dutch boy on crutches getting punched by another boy after they were seemingly being friendly. Which, you know, if you go on the internet, if you watch World Star videos, this is how kids entertain themselves these days. I guess this is how you work out your macho thing. The kid who was doing the punching of the boy on crutches, not a Muslim. Absolutely. I mean, provably, people have investigated this. Not a Muslim at all. There's nothing to do with Islam at all in the video. It is just something that looks to be unreasonable, designed to inflame people against Muslims. So there was that. Then there was a video, this has been circulating around for years. Muslim destroys a statue of a Virgin Mary. Who gives a fuck? It's a statue, for starters. Yeah. So I don't even understand that one. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Good. Was it his statue? Sound. Smash it all he wants. You know? And there was like loads of people like replying like, yeah, but you try and draw a picture of Muhammad. Yeah, well, yeah, obviously there's, guess what? A lot of religious people are just fucking unreasonable, aren't they? Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter which one it is. They're just unreasonable. Wherever there is a wiggle room to be an extremist, if you follow something dogmatically, you're going to find extremists that apply their faith or belief system dogmatically. And then there was like Islamist mob pushes teenage boy off roof and beats him to death, which, you know, we all see some crazy shit going on in the Middle East on a daily basis. I don't know necessarily why this video is the straw that breaks the camel's back. These are countries that, yes, there's some problems over there. I don't know if you've heard about like the crisis in the Middle East peace talks. You know, do these phrases ring any bells? There's problems, and it's about conflicting belief systems. And more often than not, as I've said multiple times, the biggest victims of Islamic extremism are Muslims themselves, moderate Muslims. So I couldn't believe he tweeted this out. I literally thought at this juncture, this is the moment where they've got to blame the intern. This is it. You have got to blame the intern. The president of the United States has retweeted somebody convicted of a hate crime, and what you're retweeting are provably fake propaganda videos designed to actually, dare I say, radicalize and inspire hate against Muslims. At that point, somebody has got to say, yeah, Donald Trump's box might have gone. His box might have gone. There is no rationale that you can give me that supports why he should be doing that. You know? So I don't understand. And I was like, yeah, just blame an intern. Do something. It's obviously not you on your Twitter account all the time. But no, not only did Donald Trump not unretweet them, which you can do now, the White House came out and stood by it, saying, he's just trying to spur on the conversation about radical Islam. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say, Sam. It's a bit mental, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but
there's some strange people in the chat here. Can I just point out?
Everyone's fuming.
Yeah, why are they fuming?
Apparently everyone just thinks it's reasonable.
That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. What you think? Yeah, but listen, 2 out of 3 were reprehensible. How is smashing a statue of a Virgin Mary reprehensible? If I buy a statue, am I not entitled to break the statue? How's that reprehensible? I'm not throwing somebody to death off a building's obviously reprehensible. They're not quite the same, are they? They're not quite the same. And quite clearly, the video, taken away from its original context, the statue video, this is, taken away from its original context, might have just been a private thing, a private joke. He might not have anything against Christianity. You don't know. He might be playing up to the stereotype as a joke for his mates. We got no idea, no frame of reference about that. You can't judge an entire group of people based off one guy breaking a statue he bought. Do people think that's reasonable? Or do people really think that's reasonable? You can't think that's reasonable. You can't be my audience and think it's reasonable to... do you know what I mean? Now, the dude getting thrown off the roof, I don't know what happened there. But it's like I say, yeah, there's some fucked up shit going on in these countries. And it's not just predicated on the Islamic faith. Some of it is. A lot of it is. But there's all sorts. I've talked about this before. I don't like any country that applies like a divine law, not the law of the land, not the law of common sense, not a societal law where everybody finds a consensus so we can all get along. Like God says gays have to die, so we're just going to kill you if you're gay. I think that's obviously outrageous. I don't support that. Spoken out about Saudi Arabia many times. In fact, this is the time of year, actually, when you probably want to pay attention to what Saudi Arabia does, because they use the holiday season where everyone's distracted to basically execute tons of political dissidents. They've done this for the past 2-3 years now. But tweeting those videos out doesn't serve a conversation. One is designed to inflame anti-Islamic sentiment from the Christian group. The other is just an out-and-out lie, completely fucking fake. And the third is obviously horrifying, but again, I don't see what this has to do with what's happening in America. Middle East, yes, it's got problems. Yes, there are some regimes around the world that wouldn't it be great if they didn't operate the way they did? We can say this about a ton of regimes.
The thing is, no one's even acknowledged the fact. It isn't. The argument shouldn't even be whether they're fake or real. It should be that he's the president of the United States and he knows retweeting these videos will incite hate towards a specific group of people. It's not going to bring up more conversation. It's not like he's doing it so they can discuss it more. All it's going to do is raise more hate. And you are the leader of the fucking free world. Like, this shouldn't be something that's happening on Twitter. If you want to discuss radical Islam, you should probably do it in a political setting, not just retweeting random videos on Twitter. Who gives a fuck if they're real or fake?
Let me show you some stuff. Hang on, let me find this. Right. Have you seen this video before?
Which one?
Yeah, you can just play this. So this is This is. Hang on. Let me just. I'll just check it's the right one actually. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, just play this. This is probably a bit of a sappy version. I think they put some music on it or something. You know how they do that. They take footage of something. In fact, there you go. This is the better one. Play this, right? So, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna, what you have to understand is the power, because I work in media, right? I understand the power of a message when it's divorced from its original context. I know how you can manipulate people. I'm not saying everything you retweet or tweet, you've got to be responsible for people's reactions to it or what it might make people do. Every person is responsible for themselves. But people are like saying, oh, yeah, look at this, this video over here. All right, well, let's take a look at another video. This is a video of a Muslim who lives in America, whose son was murdered. And in court, he gave a speech saying he forgives the murderer and he embraced the murderer before the murderer was taken to prison. 2 minutes. Play this.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
An emotional courtroom as the victim's father took the stand, his impact statement offering a lesson in forgiveness.
I blame the devil who misguiding you and misleading you to do such a horrible crime. No, I don't blame you. I'm not angry at you at all.
Relford was sentenced to 31 years for his role in the killing of Salahuddin Jitmood. Officials say Relford came up with a plan to rob the pizza delivery driver. Jitmood was stabbed to death at an apartment on Trent Circle in April of 2015.
I forgive you on behalf of Salahuddin and his mother on the act of involving to kill him.
The judge, also overcome with emotion, called for a recess.
Dr. Jitmood did ask Relford to tell him who killed his son, a moment that brought Judge Kim Bonnell to tears.
I think this may be a good time to take a break. Thank you.
Relford's mother said she had sent her son to Lexington to get away from violence in Atlanta. She said the forgiveness of Jitmood's family had been a blessing.
And I know I am deeply sorry for your loss. And I thank you so much for comforting me and my family, because I was shocked to hear your forgiveness.
She said her family had tried to get Trey off of drugs, but were unsuccessful. He told the Jitmoods he was sorry for what had happened.
I'm sorry about what happened that day.
Just tell them that you do. Well, I thank you for your forgiveness.
There was only uncontrollable sobbing as Relford and Jitmood's father embraced one another, proving that sometimes kindness does prevail.
So there you go. Why don't we retweet that, right? And fucking, do you know what I mean? And then let's all extrapolate. There's no problems with Islam anywhere in the world because that is the pinnacle of the belief system. Well, of course, that would be as equally disingenuous. So my point is, if you're watching those videos and being agitated by them, then I know you need to take a long, hard look at yourself. There's some of the most clearly manipulative, cynical videos designed to inflame sensibilities that actually have they don't say anything about either the problems with Islam as a belief system or indeed Muslims living in America. You know, it's ridiculous. And again, I'll say straight off the bat, like if you watch my stuff thinking, yeah, go on, Richard, stick it to the Muslims. I've never, ever stuck it to the Muslims. I lived in Birmingham around the corner from a mosque. My neighbors were Muslim. I worked for a part of local government that was helping people relocate from tyrannical Sharia regimes and starting new lives in Britain. So you've obviously misjudged me to fuck. If you come here and think, yeah, we're going to stick it up the Muslims. So you can just go. If you've ever given me money, I'll give it back to you. Don't come here. You're not. I didn't realize that attracted people like that. You know? Holy shit. Did you know we had people like that?
No, but it wasn't that many, to be fair. There was like 2 loud people in the chat. To be fair,
Yeah.
most of the viewers are reasonable.
Yeah, just get rid of them. Fuck them. Fuck them. Absolute retards. Seriously. So again, I like to think most reasonable people can agree there is absolutely no need for Donald Trump to tweet that. He should definitely be apologizing about the one that was completely fake, at the very least. But for the White House to release a statement publicly just saying, yeah, Donald Trump is trying to drive the conversation. Mate, we know what the conversation is. It's not going to get resolved by you tweeting out fake bullshit. Yes, there is a debate about Western values, Western societal values, American values, and the values of Islam, and whether or not they can be compatible in a meaning way that's going to dissolve all problems. But tweeting shit like that out, like fucking, yeah, look at him smashing the statue of the Virgin Mary. They hate us. They all hate us. Like that's not helping. That's not how we get to the next stage. I don't know what the next stage looks like. I don't have the answers. I'm not fucking president.
If I was, I wouldn't be retweeting any fucking Britain First videos, mate. I'd probably
Exactly.
be doing better.
Well, yeah, holy shit. I'm amazed. You know, it makes you take stock of stuff, because I've joked a lot about, alt-right Richie Lewis. Fuck me, man. My mind is blown. I didn't know there'd be people like that following my shit. Holy shit, that's wild. 3 or 4 people sat in the channel, like, trying to make out, yeah, well, it's okay to post a fake video that makes people hate Muslims, because, they probably would do it anyway. Like, what is that logic? Like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. Wow. Right. We'll do some comedy. So yeah, Donald Trump's box is gone. But obviously, wherever we talk about Trump and his box going, we got to talk about journalists and their box going. And fuck me, dude. This is ridiculous. So a Washington Post reporter, quite a famous one.
I was on from Mike and Wald News, so I haven't heard from him.
No, I got you covered.
Something nice.
Yeah, I got you covered, dog. I got you covered. So you ever heard of Dave Weigel?
Nah.
So Dave Weigel basically is a reporter over at the Washington Post, and he put this tweet out where, because Donald Trump had said, I'm doing another one of my rallies and it's packed to the rafters. So Dave Weigel, this journalist, put a tweet out, and it was of an empty stadium and him going, lol, packed to the rafters, in quotation marks. And he put a picture out and there was barely anybody there. It wasn't packed to the rafters. But what he'd done was take a photo from way before Donald Trump had turned up and said, Donald Trump's lying. And actually, Donald Trump himself tweeted out pictures from the rally. And you know what, Sam? Packed to the rafters.
Yeah.
Packed to the rafters. So, and I don't understand what this obsession journalists have with picking over the minutiae of everything Donald Trump says in a bid to discredit it, as if this would ever be the gotcha moment. It shows how far journalism has fallen, that this is like, in Dave Weigel's mind, this to him is the equivalent of the Watergate story. Donald Trump said it was packed to the rafters, but look, the stadium's empty. It wouldn't matter even if Donald Trump had lied. If a politician exaggerates their own worth, their own, popularity, that's what they do. That's inherent to politics. We've accepted this as a culture that our politicians have to lie or be dishonest or deceptive. We all know that at the back of our minds. No journalist is going to shock you. Hey, did you know that politician was a liar? what, a fucking lying politician? Whatever next, a paedophile priest? You know, it's not going to blow your fucking mind, is it? You know what I mean? Someone with a position of authority over children abusing that authority. Well, I never. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's things that we just take as a fucking given, and we know in the back of our fucking minds. So why journalists have this obsession with, you know, 2 scoops and he lied about this and he lied about that and he said he tweeted at 5 o'clock, but it was really 5 minutes past 5. These are not the things you've got to be dedicating your attention to. So Dave Weigel deleted the tweet and then tried to style it out saying, I got it wrong, but I was joking. So he literally did.
Just a meme.
Yeah, he dropped the whole "I was only pretending to be retarded" defense, which is, you know, not what I want from my fucking 400,000 following household name journalist. That's not what I want. But he then added as well, you know, I was confused, but I was joking, but I was confused. So anyway, Donald Trump said, I don't accept your apology. You should be fired. Fake news. Slumped. So, you know, and I agree. I think that's just a picture of Donald Trump on the screenshot. Looking good, dude. Looking good. So here's the thing. When are journalists going to stop being held accountable by the outlets that employ them? When is that going to happen? Because we are way past that point, in my opinion. The the journalists are just out of control. They're out of control, Sam. They are literally lying publicly, consistently, and as long as it's a lie that paints Trump in a negative light, everyone's letting it slide. And if I was an editor, if I owned a news outlet, I wouldn't tolerate that. First time you had been proven to lie in print or through our medium or on Twitter to further your agenda, you would be out the fucking door. You can't be trusted anymore. And like, people have got to take a fucking firmer hand with journalists that are proven to be lying. I honestly think so. We're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to, you know, you've got one fucking job. Just tell us the truth. That's all people want. So nice golf club. I like that. He does like a game. He does like a game of golf, dude.
He does love a golf.
He does love a golf. So that was ridiculous. Journalists' boxes are gone. Oh shit! And we didn't even talk about Cheggers, did we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man. So Keith Chegwin's dead. He died today.
He's dead.
He's dead. Keith Chegwin's done a dead. And probably a lot of people won't know who Keith Chegwin is. Keith Chegwin was kind of a British TV star. He in the 70s and the 80s used to host a lot of
It's a knockout.
Yeah, he used to host a lot of game shows and that kind of thing. He was considered an all-round entertainer. You know, he used to do a show called Cheggers Plays Pop that ran for about 8 years. He used to do the Swap Shop as well. You know, where he had his resurgence for me was, you ever used to watch, see, it's before your time, but did you ever used to watch The Big Breakfast?
No, I think so.
Big Breakfast was like sort of a reinvention of the British breakfast show. And you used to have Zig and Zag on it, who were two, aliens, and it had Paula Yates on it, you know, the one who died, who was with Michael Hutchence from In Excess. Right. And they'd get like pretty big celebrities to come on under the guise that it was an interview, and they'd just be lying on a bed with Paula, who would just fucking flirt with them, and the interviews were all just ridiculous. Like, I think they had Arnie on there one time. It was a good fucking breakfast show, you know. Used to get up before I go to school. You know, I have my fucking Rice Krispies or whatever and watch The Big Breakfast. It was good. So Keith Chegwin used to do an outdoor segment on that, which kind of put him back into the, you know, hearts and minds of British TV. But where people are going to know him from, mate, where people are going to know fucking Cheggers from, I think most of all, is when he appeared on Extras, mate. Yeah. He fucking buckled me. I didn't even know this cunt was that funny. Yeah, so here was the thing, right? He played because the joke that one of the consistent jokes in extras was always that these stars, these TV stars, film stars, all the people that Ricky Gervais's character, the titular extra, would brush up against. They were always arseholes in some way, you know, like Les Dennis was super depressed and miserable and obsessed with his wife cheating on him because he'd had that Big Brother thing. Patrick Stewart was fucking just obsessed with seeing women with their clothes off, and they made Keith Chegwin to be a fucking homophobe, right? That was his. So first of all, you can imagine to even embrace that is you've got to be a good sport. You got to be able to laugh at yourself because obviously he isn't a homophobe, you know. But it's like it's obviously a reprehensible thought process, isn't it? So there's this scene they did where, like a lot of retarded homophobes, they outline, you know, why they don't
Adam
like
and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Adam and Eve, not Steve. How many times have I fucking heard that? Like, seriously, if you ever uttered that unironically, you are a cunt. Like, I mean, you're never gonna do anything. Just get the fuck out, you know. But Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and or the other classic. Well, as long as I don't have to bloody look at it, as if there was ever a fucking thing that meant you were gonna have to look at it. Like, oh, gays exist, so I guess I'm just gonna have to watch non-stop bumming now.
What's that? You voted yes for gay marriage? Well, come into the wanking den and watch them do it then.
Just like, I hate all that shit. Like, just, oh yeah, well, they can bloody marry each other now. Well, that's it. They'll be fucking in the streets. Like every gay person is like some hedonistic. Oh, bring out the grapes and wine. Like, it's just not like that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with everyone? So anyway, obviously, like, homophobes are retards. They're just stupid people. And one of the other things that they always say is that but it biologically makes sense. You know, women have vaginas and men have penises, and they're designed to go into each other.
Yeah,
if you put your penis, if you put your penis anywhere else, it's somehow anti-natural. Apart from the fact we all jerk off, and you know, last time I checked, that's not a fucking vagina. So anyway, he does this bit, mate. Oh, it just ruins me. And there's the bit
this on the DVD, but buckling
it. Super. So, fuck it. In honor of Cheggers, we just got to play the whole thing. Because, first of all, I will say this. I don't think Ricky Gervais is necessarily as great a comic mind as people make out. Although, I do think he's brilliant in his own way. But when he corpses, when he laughs, he's got a laugh almost as infectious as yours, mate. So, in honor of Keith Chegwin, rest in fucking peace. Only 60. Yeah, just this clip from Extras, mate. It's fucking brilliant.
3, 2, 1, go.
I thought I'd learnt not to corpse, especially on live TV with some of the things that I've seen. But here was absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes. I don't know who's talking. And then he starts corpsing. It's the worst thing for me ever. Sometimes. I've just done the most unprofessional job in my entire career. I've done nothing but laugh through the whole day. Men have knobs. Women have fannies. Pop knob. Infamy. I do this little scene with my finger, and this being an orifice, and it's making like this. And I can't tell it. I was sweating buckets. A man has a knob. A woman. On the TV, it takes about 30 seconds, but here in the studio, it's taken nearly 4 hours. Pop knob infamy.
This is madness. It's funny as well. So if you're talking to someone, it's funnier if you're talking to someone. It's straight away you go, well, I'm never going to get through this, because you can see every bit of fear in their eye. You can see a slightest movement if they're going to laugh. If they do that with their mouth, and you're gone.
You see, men have knobs. Women have fannies. Pop knob in fanny.
Oh God! You fucking... Oh God, you don't know how hard that is, Steve.
Well, I was losing it here.
Don't bat me. I defy anyone. Just sit there. It gets earlier in the take, so if I know that that's coming, I start laughing just slightly before that.
Pop knob. Pop. Men have knobs. A man has a knob.
It's tiring. It's because you think, well, I'm never going to get this now.
Pop knob in fanny.
Not up the arse, yeah.
Forgot about that bit.
Not up your arse.
Straight at the camera.
What could be more normal than shoving your cock up a man's arse?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep Chegwin. Okay.
Cheggers plays cock.
Oh, Keith Chegwin, mate. What a fucking ledge. So yeah. Rest in peace, brother. We all get there in the end. Fucking 60 years old, Sam. I'm running out of time, mate.
Same. I might only have 4 years left.
Same. Same. To be fair, you are living that Nate Dogg life. You got fucking Nate Dogg written all over you, dude. Oh, you're just gonna come in one day. You're just gonna be fully fucking brud, man. Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, so right, let me get on to the next bit for the box going. Fuck me, that's done me in. That has. That bit. Fucking. That's all right. Just the way he says it. Your ass. This is like the wildest thing ever, man. Oh, right. Tell you who else's box is fucking gone. I saw the most cooked motherfucker in the world 2 days ago. Right? This is mad, right? And you know how everyone's been debating. I'm gonna do a video on that, by the way. I get a lot of people messaging me going, "Oh, why don't you do debates, Richard? Why don't you do debates? I think you'd be really good at debates." All these YouTube debates, right, aren't debates. They're not debates. It is two clashing fan bases, two groups, two people, two individuals or more, all attention seekers, coming together with diametrically opposed opinions that they have no intention of working through, no intention of even altering slightly. The whole premise of these debates is basically to get yourself more followers of people who already agree with your opinions and maybe leech a little bit of attention from somebody else's fan base. They're garbage. They're absolutely retarded. They literally do not have any value in and of themselves. And I have no interest in that. And I'm amazed anyone does. I can't believe YouTube debates has become a thing because no one is saying anything of any worth. Like nobody, you get into this debate. It's about like, you know how like people who watch it online have just fetishized gotchas and mic drop, you know. They've just fetishized those little moments, the snappy one-liners, the comebacks, the moment where you make somebody look really stupid. So it's just whoever gets the most of them is sort of deemed to have won the debate. You don't need studies, although everyone pretends they study for these things when they clearly don't. You just need to have the quicker wit. And then everyone, yeah, you got him. All right, what is this? It's awful. It's like just so fucking low rent entertainment. I just couldn't fucking be bothered with it at all. Just horrific. The lowest common denominator popularity contest dressed up as an intellectual exercise. So I don't do those, and I don't think I'll ever do those. But there's been a lot of discussion shall we say, lately about, what do they call them? Like booby streamers or whatever disparaging term people use. Now, my views about this have always been really clear, Sam. I don't know if you agree, but I have no problem with it. Yeah, none whatsoever. And I think the reason for that is I'm not some sort of weird, socially inadequate person who thinks that Twitch should just be about my little small world view and I want to watch games. And I've always said Twitch gets better as a platform the more stuff it caters to, and I would like it to be a public access channel. That's what I would like it to be. And I've said this for years, and Twitch have gone down that route and they've become more and more successful as a result of it. Am I saying that what these people bring to the table is of any great artistic value? No, obviously not. When it's like, hey guys, I'm just playing a game, and like jiggle cam, like obviously this isn't
twerking for subs.
Yeah, this isn't high level entertainment. It's very transparent to what it is, but you know that. And if people want to consume that content, let them. What's the problem? What's the issue? Why does it bother you? Now, where it gets a bit more problematic is Twitch obviously do not equally enforce the rules. I think we can all agree that some people can criticize these types of female streamers and get away with it. Other people, as soon as they make a joke about it, are banned. I've seen women who've criticized some of these more popular streamers by name get banned from Twitch. Meanwhile, it does say in terms of service on Twitch, you mustn't show any sexually explicit content, which I think is a very subjective term. But for example, I've seen people permanently banned for calling these streamers out, which is apparently harassment. But I've seen a streamer fake masturbate for subs and get a very short ban. So Twitch's application of the rules are all over the place. That is what should be the problem here. That's what people should be discussing, not whether or not these people should be allowed to broadcast the type of entertainment they do to the audience they've generated. And to be fair, Twitch did implement some rule changes. Like me and you, we can't sell our nudes on Patreon. Yeah.
There goes the 250 Patreon subscriber reward on by the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Like, obviously, Gape Cam is never coming.
Cam.
Yeah, Sam does a goatsy like you wouldn't believe, guys.
And as if it's like an impression. It's a tremendous goatsy.
Hey, it just looked like goatsy. I thought it was him.
He was in the room
when you were stretched that wide, mate. So yeah, obviously we don't. We can't do that anymore. No streamers can, and that is fine. That is fine. But yeah, there's been a lot of debate about this, and as a result, I think this is a fake thread. But it made me laugh because if this is real, this is the most cuckolded man in the world. Here it is. It was a thread over on Twitch, the official Twitch subreddit, and I expected this to get deleted because a lot of this type of stuff does. And it's made on a new throwaway account called Anonymous Twitch BF. I'm guessing BF stands for boyfriend, not best friend. And you'll see why. The thread is entitled Girl Streamers Hiding Their Boyfriends. And this is why I'm pretty sure this is fake. This is designed to generate more kind of outrage over the whole issue. Like, oh my God, they're doing cynical things. Like, yeah, obviously, like every streamer. You think there's any difference between twerking for subs and a guy who like goes like, fake crying for subs or, oh yeah, God, your donation means so much to me, man. Yeah. Like, how many of these people are actually fucking genuine? Anyway, side issue. Hello, I am writing this anonymously to shine light on a funny/horrible/sad issue. All of
this is my life.
A funny, horrible, sad life that exists on Twitch. I am the boyfriend of a streamer. I am not allowed to show myself on her stream.
Because I look like Sloth from the Goonies.
Or make any noise when she streams. Because then she thinks her viewers would realize that she has a boyfriend and leave the stream. Her subscribers would unsubscribe and people would stop donating. We even put up 2 huge mattresses to try and prevent any noise from penetrating the walls from when I play video games in the room nearby. She doesn't mention me at parties.
She doesn't tell people she has a boyfriend because then she couldn't fuck others.
She doesn't mention me at parties because she thinks that guys won't talk to her if they know that she has a boyfriend. We split up at parties and go by ourselves because of this reason.
Sure, she just doesn't hate you, but and you're just living in her house and she wants you to leave.
Obviously, this guy was the top donator, and I think he took it the whole boyfriend thing a bit literally.
The boyfriend package.
I am pretty sure a lot of streamers do the same, only that we don't know about this because we're not supposed to know about it. It's kind of horrible when you think of it, that you have to hide your boyfriend in order to maintain the income from your stream. If anyone has any stories to share, feel free to do so. Please do not point fingers, though. Keep it anonymous. I want to hear your opinions. Kind regards, the most cooked man on planet Earth. And there's just a great comment in there where it just says, this doesn't sound like a problem adults would have. Yeah. And it's true, isn't it? Right? Now, there's no way that's real. There is no way that's real. It's just designed. This shows how fucking crazy people get about this topic. Now, again, it's like I say, if... I find it very interesting that there is a correlation between the type of people that will criticize what they call booby streamers and the same type of people that criticize SJWs for being puritanical. Like, which one is it? Are you comfortable with the female form and the benefits thereof of having a nice female form? Or do you want them to cover up? Because Twitch should be about gameplay, man. Kind of sounds like you're on that puritanical boat with a lot of the SJWs that, you know, want fat, flat-chested game characters because that represents my physique. You know, like there's contradictions. I don't know why people get so fucking upset over this stuff. Just let people broadcast what they want to broadcast. And again, the issue is with Twitch and the application of their rules. Not whether or not these women should be able to do this, just whether or not Twitch should allow them on the platform based on the current rule set they have. And certainly they shouldn't be banning people for critiquing Twitch's rule set on Twitch. That's an abuse of power. Nobody should sign off on that. Nobody should be comfortable with that. That's it. You know, it's that simple. There's no great debate to be had here, by the way. Obviously, though, because it was in the news, people are going to milk this shit for all it's fucking worth. So, anyway, Boxer's gone. Turns out, millennials. The Boxer's gone.
We need that.
Check this out. This is true. This is a study.
They've been buying more fucking avocados.
Well, apart from the fact that there's currently a debate about whether or not we should ban the term millennial now.
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, no, right. But check it out. This was a study, and the findings which were published in the Telegraph a few days ago. Don't call us snowflakes. It damages our mental health, say young people.
So you are a snowflake then, yeah?
Yeah. The study found that, I'll just read you the whole thing. Being called a snowflake is damaging to mental health, young people say. Figures show that the majority of young people think the term is unfair, and even more think it could have a negative effect of its own. The snowflake generation is a disparaging term now commonly used to refer to young people who are perceived to be oversensitive and intolerant of disagreement. I mean, why on earth would anybody think that was a trend that was occurring, right? But research by insurance firm Aviva found that 72% of 16 to 24-year-olds think the term is unfairly applied, while 74%, 3/4, think it could have a negative effect on young people's mental health.
Don't give a fuck. Grow up. Get on with your life. Fucking snowflake.
It is time to grow up. Now, the purpose of the study was to sort of ask about mental health and whether or not people felt comfortable talking about it, comfortable getting diagnosed with it and stuff. And the firm trotted out a medical expert called Dr. Doug Wright. I know, good, right? Isn't it? Dr. Get Right. And he said, our findings suggest that young people are more likely to be experiencing mental health problems. So using a phrase which criticizes that age group could add to the issue, and any disparagingly to a segment of the population is inherently negative. I know, right?
I don't like when you call me snowflake. Fucking grow up.
Isn't it? And again, it's interesting, isn't it? Because at the same time, right, okay. For me, if you wanted people to be able to become more resistant to things, I think there is an argument to say exposure to things improves resistance to certain things. You know, like I'm not talking about bullying. I'm not talking about, you should get bullied and fucked up and this, that, and the other. That makes, that's not an argument I would make. But I would definitely say that there is an argument to say that, if you get exposed to certain types of ideas, if you get used to the idea of having to back up your ideas, rather than them being taken as gospel, when you get used to the idea of intellectual conflict, I think these things will help you be more resistant as an adult, right? That just makes sense.
Well, that's why when you hear from successful people, they always have hardships in their life or have failures they have to overcome. It's because if you have an easy road, you're not going to learn how to stop a fuck up when it arises. The people who have travelled a bumpy road know how to overcome things. Whereas if you're just sitting there like, don't say that I'm a snowflake, you're probably not gonna know what the fuck to do when shit hits the fan, are you?
Yeah, and I'm of that I'm of that opinion. But anyway, so when this is what I've always thought about, like when you bring in things like trigger warnings, or you let people opt out of being exposed to things that are, for example, essential to their learning process. Like we've seen stories this year where universities have said, if you're going to be a lawyer, a criminal defense or prosecution lawyer, you don't need to be in a classroom when we talk about a violent murder or a rape. And because it might be too triggering. Well, I don't want that motherfucker to pass the bar. What if they've got to defend someone who is accused of rape? I mean, I'll add falsely accused. What it would probably help you to know about the specifics around the case. What if you've got to prosecute someone, get a rapist sent to prison, and you're incompetent and you can't do your job because you skipped class that day because all the case studies around rape trials were all too triggering? Congratulations, you made the world a worse place because you were too fucking sensitive to nut the fuck up and learn what you have to do the job that you want to do. You don't get to opt out of shit in real life. This is what I mean. We've made universities these little cocoons, these little bubbles within which you don't have to necessarily, that they are so far removed from what the real world is like. The average student these days isn't prepared to go out into the big wide world. I mean, like my generation, when we went to university, that might also have been true, but we all knew it. We all knew, like, yeah, we'll stay here as long as possible and get fucked up. And then, because we know we're not going to be able to do this when we go to the real world. We know we're in a bubble. It's great, but we know the bubble's going to burst, So all of this stuff like, trigger warnings and safe spaces and hugging days. This is, you're not helping people build the necessary.
7 years ago, these motherfuckers were going to war, mate. Having to see people die all around them, and now these fucking cunts are breaking down because someone said they're not hard. You can't handle it. He said I can't handle it. Fucking grow up.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree with you, but I am glad that.
That's not the ideal situation going to war. But what I'm saying is, shit's been rougher, bruh. Like fucking hell.
I mean, there was this as well. I mean, what always upsets me is when it's the kind of intellectual elite establishment. Like, I had this bookmarked for ages, and we just didn't do a show that I could fit it into, but I'll talk about it while we're here. And this is obviously another report in the Telegraph that, Cambridge students were warned that a Shakespearean play may distress them. And they were dealing with Titus Andronicus and Comedy of Errors, and because there's sexual violence and sexual assault contained within the plays, they were warning people, right? This is going to be rough. You might not. It's like, this is Shakespeare. This is the cornerstone of English literature, and you're basically giving people a pass to opt out of exposure to these great works of art based on whether or not it might harm their delicate feelings. And I'm not trying to diminish anyone's experiences. Let's say, for example, if you're the victim of a sexual assault, which honestly more often than not these people aren't, of course, but that's just by the nature of odds and statistics. But I also think as well, you have to, I think the opt-out rule should be something that is specific to the individual. If you know enough about yourself to know you're going to have a PTSD style response to exposure to certain types of content and art, you should let your lecturers know, and you should just not be there that day and be like, look, I can't, but I'm still going to try and contribute to this course in some other meaningful way. It shouldn't be the kind of proviso going in, the expectation going in, rather than a proviso that specific people have and need. And yeah, it's very strange to me now as well, because at universities there's almost this kind of clamor, and I know this from talking to a lot of students that watch the show and send me letters. There's almost this kind of clamor to be in the triggered group and to say, yeah, oh God, I'm totally triggered by Shakespeare, and it's almost like showing that you're sensitive to these cultural issues rather than showing yourself to be weak or whatever. It's a very bizarre kind of trend at the moment, and that's why in these small groups where among your peers perception is everything, people are electing to be these extreme radical baby leftists. This is because they think their peer group will reject them if they don't conform. That's normal. Everybody kind of factions off at a university. Sports guys, nerd guys, whatever, right? We break away into factions from people who share our common interests. This is natural. This is something we all do. But what if the only common interest was this bizarre victimhood status, which is becoming more and more prevalent in universities? Well, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to go to university. They're going to be normal. They're going to be balanced. And then they're going to look at their peer group and be like, wow, everyone's saying my ideas are so out of touch, and because I want to read Shakespearean play without a trigger warning, I think trigger warnings are a bit stupid. I better drop that, right? I better get rid of that idea. I better, because the group's going to reject me, and I got to live with these motherfuckers for 3 to 5 years. I don't want to be the outcast. And actually, they do make compelling arguments when we talk about it. And there's that girl with the blue hair, and I really hope, maybe I can have a relationship. Well, fuck it. I'm all in on this nonsense now. And then before you know it, what starts out as something you do to fit in actually becomes a credo. It actually becomes something that you live your life by, and by the end of the 3 to 5 years of having been indoctrinated into it, it's incredibly hard to get out. It's incredibly hard to alter something you've lived your entire life by that point, right?
So back then, not everyone was playing identity politics when they're going to university. Everyone's already cornering themselves in as soon as they get into university, so they're not able to hear other people's opinions and ideas and things. They just have to go into the little cubby that was already fucking carved out as soon as they arrive, and then no one talks about anything of worth.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous, and I think there was always an understanding that when you went to university, again when I went, it was always there's an experimentation period coming. This is a period of your life where you're going to get exposed to all sorts of crazy stuff, people from different parts of the world, different backgrounds. Obviously, having lived in northeastern Wales, I wouldn't say I was exposed to a great sort of diverse, different types of culture. Obviously, we had a big Sikh community where I used to live. And but I didn't meet a Muslim till I went to university. The university I went to had an actual mosque on campus. Because it was a theological university that was known for. It was one of the first universities in Britain to translate the Quran into English and this kind of thing. So I met people with ideas, some of which I liked, some of which I didn't. I met people from different levels of fiscal background. I'd only known poor people. I met people that were very into drugs, which I'd never really had access to a certain types of drugs. I think by the time I went to university, obviously mushrooms, weed, ecstasy, but I speed. But I never tried cocaine. That was that was something that only the rich cultural elite did. I went to university, boom, fucking steroids, whatever it was.
Dirty little student loan, you get a fucking bag full of what you want.
Yeah, right. And so there was people from the drug culture. There was people from the counterculture. I'd never met a crusty before. I never met a person that was kind of deliberately opting out of society because they were anti-capitalist or whatever. I'd never met people who were like, yep, I totally live my life off the grid, so I do. I got a fucking tent in the middle of the woods and I dug a hole in it and I laid it down with tarp, and because I'm living on a piece of land that's owned by my mother's cousin's brother's cousin, they can't evict me. No electric. I don't vote. I'm just off the fucking grid. Never met cunts like that before. I think they're mental, but never met them before. But fuck, and we all came together, and it was a melange of fucking cultures and races and religious types, and we all had to get along, and we all had some banging parties. And yeah, not everybody got along. Not everybody thought everyone was shit hot, but there was just this understanding, the university's not going to get involved. There's not going to be a safe space. There's not going to be somebody coming into the class and saying, right, you don't have to be exposed to this, you don't have to be exposed to that. This person's ideas are bad, so we got to shut them up. That just wasn't ever happening. You saw that Jordan Peterson shit.
Well, they're all just screaming during his debate.
So there was this student. Let me find it. Basically, she recorded. Let me just find it. She recorded her professors because, and what she'd done is she had done she'd done a speech. She was trying to present the ideas of gender pronouns.
Right.
And she was in she was doing a Wilfrid Laurier, that's her name. Wilfrid Laurier is the name of the university rather. So Wilfrid Laurier got all this negative press because there was a student called Lindsay Shepherd on campus, and she was in a critical thinking class. And one of the debates she wanted to have about critical thinking is, where do we draw the line on gender pronouns? And we've talked about this on the show. I've said it, before. I go as far as 3, right? I'm willing to go to 3, and that is, if you want to define yourself as a he or a she, that's cool. If you are actually if you do have one of the conditions that would make you effectively sexless or both, like hermaphrodites or whatever they call them these days, happy to go with a they if you prefer. Very comfortable to do it. I don't believe you're non-binary just because you say you're non-binary. Sounds like a load of attention-seeking bullshit to me. And I certainly don't support the idea of having to call you Z, Z, Fim, Fur, Fee, Fi, Fo, fucking Fum. I am not doing any of that. I would consider it horrific if any society legally compelled people to use words made up by the person that wants you to just use those words. That would be a completely untenable system for any society. And I have no interest in it. In fact, I would go so far as to say, if you introduced yourself to me and you said, "Hi, nice to meet you, Richard. If you ever need to, could you refer to me as Zim or Zer?" I would just be like, "Listen, dude, you might be a cool person, but just so we know going into the relationship, into the friendship, never going to do that. Sorry. But if we can just be sensible for 5 minutes, is there an alternative? I'm willing to.
They.
I'm happy. I mean, I guess I can give you a they. And you know, we've done that story where the first person in fucking the world to have a legally recognized, completely individualistic pronoun, where you have to refer to them as patches. I'm not playing these stupid games. I'm not doing it. You know, this isn't a transgender issue, by the way. Anyone who says, but it's to protect the transgenders, it's not. Let me tell you what transgenderism is, and it just seems to be that everyone's forgotten this when it comes to making the laws. Trans is short for transitioning between genders. So you start as a man or a woman and you become the opposite. And while you are going through that period, you may want to refer to yourself as having trans status because you are transitioning. But when you get to the finale, and I say this having known many transgendered people in my life, everyone, I would say holistically, doesn't want a special status or a special pronoun. They want to be recognized as the thing they were transitioning to. And the adoption of the term trans is not because they want special status. It is a courtesy to you, the person who interacts with them, because there might be something that is a little bit jarring. You might see somebody who has stubble, but everything else around them is feminine and screams woman, and they might want to one day have the epilation to remove that. What they do, this is what I hate about the argument about transgender people are trying to trick people. The only reason the word transgender exists is to let people know that these people exist. It is a tacit acknowledgement that these people are here, and we are trying to make it easier for you so you don't get confused or fucked up, right? That's what it's about. So when they go from she to he or he to she, that's the one I'm willing to use. Of course, I'm not a cunt. I'm not going to treat these people who go through horrific body dysmorphia and mental problems. I'm not going to treat them any worse by using the fucking pronoun they've dedicated their entire life to getting away from. What kind of inhuman, sadistic, merciless cunt would fucking do that? That isn't me. But here's what I will say. If you're one of these people who suddenly thinks you're going to get a special protected fucking word for you, then no, I'm not playing that game. You are not that fucking special. If you want to be a she after being a he or whatever, I'll do that. Obviously, that's what a civilized human being would do. If you want to invent a fucking word for yourself and insist that I use it and try and have it legally compelled that I have to use it, I think you're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't really care about your struggle or anything at that point. You're being unreasonable. So that has always been my stance. I think that is the only sensible stance to adopt. I think if you go into I think if you go into this world of like everybody gets their own name, everybody gets their own terminology, I think once you go down that road, you open yourself to absurdity. And once we get to the point of absurdity, then and only then will we start to realize, oh yeah, that system was actually completely untenable, wasn't it? And now we can't wind it back. So anyway, this is a kind of debate, a sensible critical thinking debate that I think has to happen. And this student tried to present that, and she actually didn't take a stance. She didn't take a stance at all. But she showed some Jordan Peterson clips in the video. Jordan Peterson, for example, has done a speech where he says, look, I'm not going to use these made up words. I will not do it. Even though, I don't know I don't think Jordan Peterson has ever argued to say he doesn't want to call a transgendered man, he. I don't think he's ever made that argument. I could be wrong about that. I've never heard it. I've never seen a clip. If he is, then I strongly and vehemently disagree. I think that's actually an awful thing to do. But I think his argument has always been similar to mine. I just don't want to have to use made-up words legally. So anyway, they did this recording. Which again, it's 10 minutes long, and I wanted to keep the show to around about 2 hours. So it's there. You can just sort of have it in the background. No need to play it. But basically, after she'd done this video where she presentation, she'd shown both sides of the argument, including a Jordan Peterson video. People in the class complained that she had been transphobic. And then she got dragged into a meeting with her professors, and the professor sat her down and said, by even showing a video of Jordan Peterson, even if you disagree, which the student says she does, even if you disagree, by simply showing it to the student body, you are engaging in an act of transphobia. And the university professor who was chastising her even compared Jordan Peterson to Hitler, because everyone's Hitler these days. Right? So, fortunately for planet Earth, and again, I resent this idea that I hear espoused by a lot of people that the battle for college campuses isn't worth fighting. They're not passing anything into law, so it doesn't matter. Actually, these are your future leaders, future politicians, future lawyers, future doctors, future lawmakers. So yes, the battle for free speech on college campuses is probably about as fucking important as it can get. And people saying, "Oh, but it's what about the legislation? What's going on in?" What about the laws that are no. This is important. This is a battle we're fighting here and now, and they are actively suppressing free speech and freedom of expression on college campuses in the West. This is happening, and it needs to fucking stop. And any college that engages in the suppression of freedom of expression and free thought and exploring ideas needs to be de-fucking funded. You want to do that in a private college where that's the rules? Fine, fund yourselves. Do not take any state fucking money to suppress people's freedom of expression. In America, it is unconstitutional that you do that. It's a fucking disgrace. So she gets pulled in. Jordan Peterson gets compared to Hitler, and they threaten to fucking they threatened to sort of sanction her. It is completely absurd what happened to this student. So, this was mind blowing to me that this could happen. This was obviously in Canada, not in America. But yeah, if you get a chance, go watch the whole fucking recording. It is really, really fucking scary. And again, it's like I say, to link it back to the original point, we do have a problem at university now where we are raising a generation of students that can't even sit in a room and watch a video of somebody else's beliefs. And even with the explicit statement, here's a video, I don't agree with it. And then it's like, but don't call us the snowflake generation. Well, which one is it? I didn't get to opt out. I remember, and this is obviously not as important, but I'll link it back to something that people might find a little bit funny now. Lift the mood. Can always tell, Sam, when you go quiet, Sam, I know I'm losing them. I'm preaching. So, when I was at university, all right.
Pop knobbing funny.
Not up your ass. When I was at university, there was a professor there. I can't remember his name. But
Alan Baldwin.
Well, my degree was a bit of a fucking joke because I obviously switched on to media and journalism, right? And we did one module about I think it was science fiction depictions in modern mediums or something. And he was a massive Star Trek fan, like no joke. He's a big fat dude, and in his professor's room.
Yeah, lightsaber.
No, Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek, mate, even deeper.
Yeah.
Straight bringing out the fucking Klingon.
Oh, mate, Spock in everyone he was. But anyway, like when I went into his room, you know, because you have to talk to your lecturers and stuff now and then. He had like Polaroids of him in like the fucking William Shatner Captain Kirk outfit, just stretched over his gut, like on the fucking walls and shit. He was a mad fucking Star Trek dude, and
Tracker, man.
he used to say that, like, and he believed it. And part of because obviously they set the course, so loads of the course was Star Trek for just like. Yeah, and he was
my favorite scene.
Yeah, he would literally come in and be like, "Oh, it's the pinnacle of sci-fi. You know, it's the most important." He honestly said this without any trace of irony. He says it is the most important television show that has ever existed, and he also said it was instrumental in
the Moonlight.
No, instrumental in defeating racism in modern America. Right now, here's one area where he's right about that. The first ever interracial kiss was on Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I remember that actually. Yeah.
Lieutenant Uhura, William Shatner, yeah, they Captain Kirk, they kissed each other, and that was like a huge big deal. And the whole premise of the fucking show is that in the future we've ditched all racial, national, and cultural divides, and we all come together. And
Ronald Reagan said, "Mate, that united threat will bring all of humanity together."
Right. Well, you know, there wasn't really a threat per se. They were
they're fucking riding through space in a spaceship, mate. Shit's pretty real.
Just exploring. They're just exploring.
Yeah, but they getting out digs every now and then. That's the whole show, innit?
No,
I'm
actually,
a huge fan, but they don't get in the battles.
No, right, only when it's absolutely necessary. You must know the Prime Directive, Sam. The Prime Directive is they cannot interfere. I mean, they broke the Prime Directive all the time, obviously. I'm pretty sure when fucking Kirk is dipping his wick in a fucking alien chick, that's breaking the Prime Directive, because you're not meant to interfere.
With straight slinging space dick. What's he doing?
He was straight slinging space dick, right? But anyway, he had to do that. He had to sling the space dick. He was a pretty good ambassador for fucking planet Earth in that sense. Because I'll tell you this, if fucking
a main pipe.
Oh, he did. If aliens came down to fucking planet Earth right now, I wouldn't be thinking.
Could fuck them up.
Yeah, like if the equivalent of the super stud from the fucking Galaxoid race came down, it's like, yeah, we are psychic fungus. I'm not.
We'll have to roll out fucking.
Yeah, I'm not chucking on. I'm not throwing a fucking a giant intergalactic mushroom to bring about peace on planet Earth. Like, fuck that.
Come on, mate, for the sake of humanity, throw a knob up, eh?
Get fucked.
Throw a length up, eh?
Pop in fungus.
Pop knob in
What if
blob.
I get eaten by? What if I get killed by space thrush? You don't know. Like, you don't know.
Take it on the chin now.
That's right, yeah, but Kirk was taking it on the fucking chin all the time, is my point. Guy was a fucking hero. The guy was a ledge.
So anyway, balls on the chin if that's what it meant for planet Earth, man.
You would hit balls on the chin.
No, I wouldn't, but Shatner would.
Oh, Shatner would, yeah.
For peace on Earth.
Yeah, Kirk is all about that life, right? So anyway, Kirk, my lecturer used to fucking talk about this all the time. Now, if you think about the crew of the first ever Enterprise, you know, it had Uhura, who was black. It had Chekhov, the Russian. It had Spock, who was obviously a Vulcan, so that was their first sort of, we can even make it with the aliens. But he was half human as well, so that's why, even though he always pretended to be logical, you know, he actually wasn't sometimes. He was emotional. And, you know, the whole point was, like, we could all get along. Now, my lecturer was adamant about that shit. Adamant. He was like, you know, this is like the greatest show that's ever existed. Next Generation was out at the time, and he was like talking about how, like, you know, Worf is like a distillation of a successful black man's rise in modern America. It was race and Star Trek was all he talked about, and how great a TV show Star Trek was, and all of its iterations, and how it was defeating racism. So I used to mad trigger the lecturer, right? Every time we had an essay, to do about Star Trek, which was often because that was all the cunt ever wanted us to write about. You know,
like writing his own fanfics for him, mate. He was loving it.
So he used to he'd do all these questions like, you know, all loaded questions.
I want you to write me a story about Will Shatner going to outer space and slinging so much space stick it falls off.
how did Star Trek defeat racism in 70s America or whatever it was? Yeah, so I would always write the contrary, and my essays were always of the opinion. Actually, these are really quite dated, nasty racial stereotypes. You've got Chekhov. Hello, I am a Russian man. That's not even Russian, is it? I don't even know what that was. Sounded more like a
Russian man.
I'm a Russian man. I kill bear, me strong, drink vodka. You got the alcoholic Scottish guy. Fucking Bones McCoy.
Can't do it, Cap.
And all of this and fucking and I said there was I always thought the Ferengi were very problematic. They look like those anti-Semitic caricatures that used to get drawn. So I said I even said even in something as well-meaning as Star Trek, there's actually inherent racist semiology, and he used to fucking hate it. He used to fucking hate it, mate.
Just used to give you an F every time. It's failure.
Because I'd literally write it up like basically, yeah, Star Trek's actually part of the problem, not fucking part of the solution. And people would just literally, oh, it was Scott, that was Scottish. Sorry, Bones was the American, my bad. And he used to trigger him. I'd get my essays back like F. You don't understand Ferengi culture. Like, yeah, shit, I'm at university, you fucking mad cunt. Trying to fucking learn about fucking journalism, and you're making me write about the fucking Ferengi and fucking Klingons and how the Klingons are fuck off, dude.
The Klingons defeated racism.
Yeah, so fuck that guy.
One spread hand at a time.
Say no. Universities, eh? What a fucking so. Right, so let's do a few more bits and then we'll get the fuck out of it. So shit, did you see this? We just got to fit it in. I probably could have fitted this into the show better, but this is bad. You think you've heard it all, mate? Egypt, right?
No, then,
mate. This is mate. This is the most outrageous thing I think I've ever fucking seen. Right, because obviously that in countries like what we talked about earlier that have certain
gays. Is that what's happening? Yeah.
Certain systems not a fan of gay people. Gay people still persecuted in many countries all over the world. It's an absolute disgrace. It's an abomination to human rights. But in Egypt, this is beyond a joke. I actually got put onto this because I'm signed up to Amnesty International, and they send you like these fucking outrageous human rights violation things going in all over the world. It's like a nice little treat for me. Every day I wake up, just check my email. Ooh, an email from Amnesty International.
Some of the worst atrocities of the world.
Did we fix planet Earth? Oh, no, the human race is absolute scum. Yeah, okay, good. So, this is Egyptian authorities were using the gay dating app Grindr in Egypt to lure gay men to like hotels, and then they'd arrest them.
So,
how fucking outrageous is that?
Surely there's something else going on in Egypt.
Yeah. No, but like, so, apparently, okay, there's this big morality drive in Egypt right now. And what they've got, they don't just have a problem with you being gay, actually, although that's the number one target. But they are saying they don't like men using apps to find sex in any way, shape, or form. And especially if you're using an app to find gay sex. So Egypt has this like morality police force that create fake Grindr accounts. And then they chat up gay men, lure them to a hotel or a location for sex, and then arrest them for being gay in Egypt. And they get charged with debauchery as a charge. Like, you even...
Lucky fucking America ain't got that law, mate.
I'd be fucked.
Vegas be empty.
So at the time of this report, which like I say was it's about 6 weeks old, they'd arrested 57 people as part of this drive.
Somebody says they're obsessed with who is being penetrated. There is a penetration mania in Egypt.
Yeah, penetration mania, yeah. So, I thought that was fucking just interesting. You know, a lot of people don't. I know, like we don't really talk about that a lot over here in the West, about how like there's certain countries where it's still impossible to exist as a gay person. Like, it's just not doable. And a lot of these countries where this is the case, these are countries we do business with in the West. We have good relationships within the West. You know, we diplomatic missions, you know, to go out there and meet them, and, you know, here's some fighter jets or whatever. And yeah, just don't bring up that whole arresting the gays thing, though. Like, don't bring that up over dinner. And a lot of this, like, morality police stuff is like is wild. So they tried to draft a law in Egypt. This is a sexual deviancy law. They've made a rough draft of it, and they literally want to criminalize homosexual acts, because at the moment they're having to arrest them on these flimsy pretexts. Like, if I get a dick pic from you, if I'm an agent for the Egyptian morality police, and I coax a dick pic from you, I arrest you on the grounds you've distributed pornography. That's how I get the gays off the streets in Egypt, you see. Or I arrest you for debauchery.
Who's this asked about where's a knob going, mate? This is Keith Chegwin's level of fucking homophobia. Can you just leave it be? And like we said, they're not jetting in the streets. You ain't got to watch.
Yeah. And
the world's fucked, man.
So I know, it's mad, isn't it? So they've drafted a law to just specifically criminalize homosexual acts, with the view of making any act of homosexuality or trying to engage in homosexuality, it would be imprisonable by 3 years. In an Egyptian jail. And the reason for this, because one of the lawmakers who drafted this is a doctor, should be immediately struck off because of the outrageous claims here. The quote here is, "We are dealing with a den of diseases. We are combating hepatitis C and HIV on a national scale. This is an abomination." And they blame gay people, you know, like people used to back when AIDS first came out. So they're a little bit behind the curve on this one in 2017, but that's what's going on over in Egypt. And I just thought, like, fuck, you know what I mean? If that, just get Grindr uninstalled, guys. Go back to using fucking smoke signals or whatever. And you know, this isn't actually
use
like
Morse code to get dick suckings. That's what's required if this is what they're doing now.
You know, this isn't. This isn't like just the worst of it, you know. This is going back a while now. This was at the sort of midway point of the year in the summer. Like you heard about what they were doing in Chechnya.
Oh yeah.
Now again, strange relationship the West has with Chechnya, because a lot of people support sort of, we're so anti-Russian again. We like completely support Chechnyan independence, and the Chechnyan resistance, whatever you want to say, whichever side of it you're on. I'm not saying Russia are good guys, by the way, so don't take me out of context here on that. That is a fucking very complicated issue. That's on a parallel with Israel and Palestine. It's layered, it's nuanced. But what isn't layered or nuanced is the fact that in Chechnya, they had concentration camps for gay people. This year, this happened. They rounded up gay people and put them in concentration camps, and then publicly declared that it couldn't be happening because no Chechnyan was gay. That's what the leader of Chechnya said.
How can gays be in concentration camps if there are no gays? That full fucking tap in the forehead meme.
Yeah, right. So, we've had people escape from these camps and come to the West, and some of the accounts are horrifying. I mean, there was a moment, right, back in time where, I don't know, let's say there was some other camps.
Yeah, remember that massive war we had over something similar?
You know, and we always say, if only we knew what was going on. This is how Western governments sleep at night, right? If only we knew what was going on, we would have gone in sooner. We would have invaded those camps and liberated those people. By the time we knew what was happening, it was too late. All right? Make of that what you will. But these people that have escaped these camps, I mean, we know what's going on. They're telling us what's going on. Right? Here's some of the descriptions here from people who fled Chechnya. Daily beatings and electroshock therapy and torture. We were tortured every day, beaten several times a day with this is very specific, polypropylene tubes. We were tortured using electricity. For 20 and 30 seconds, they would crank dynamo. You would feel the electricity run through your body, then you would fall down. They would stop it, and immediately when you came back to consciousness, they would give you another discharge. This would happen 5, 6, 7 times, as many as you could take. And Chechnyan officials, again, this is the Chechnyan leader Ramzan Kadyrov, says there's no homosexuals in Chechnya, so how can we detain and persecute those who do not exist? So all of these people who've escaped the camps, all of the people currently in camps, they're liars, Sam. It's all part of a big fucking conspiracy.
It doesn't even sound like he's denied. It sounds like he's being like arrogant about it, like cocky, even like, oh yeah, no homosexuals.
Yeah. So here's, it's interesting, isn't it? We get upset over here in the West over false stories that Mike Pence endorsed electroshock conversion therapy. There's never been any proof of this, by the way. It's become something of a meme. No one's ever found the smoking gun. I believe on one very early political campaign he went on in his career, he did have a website where he said he supported groups that looked at traditional family solutions, which I would expect of a conservative to support the traditional family values, traditional family unit or whatever. Nobody's ever shown me anything where it's like Mike Pence supports electrocuting gay people. That would be absolutely fucking outrageous for anybody to support. But it's a lie that's kind of been passed on time and time again by leftists but why aren't we I kind of feel that this is a bad thing. Why I don't know, nobody seems outraged about this story ran for like 1 week and then it was back to how much KFC does Trump eat. This is gay human beings being fucking tortured in death camps in a country that we supposedly have supported because they're resistant to the Russian regime. I kind of feel we can probably do something about that. Maybe there's something we could do. I don't know. Maybe we could send in a covert military unit, right? Free all of these people in concentration camps, and when the Chechnyan leader acts outraged about it, go, I thought you said there weren't any gays.
Yeah.
Gotti. How are you going to have an international incident if there was never any gays in the first place?
I mean, there is political pressure that can be applied as well. People are like, what are you going to do? Just go in there and start war? No, but there is some pressure that can be applied, aren't there? Like, well, if you ain't going to release them, maybe we don't buy this trade off you. You don't get these weapons.
Yeah, it's just absurd, isn't it? Right, let's end on some lighthearted stuff. Let's end on some lighthearted stuff. What have we got? Yes, Eichenwald. I promised you Eichenwald.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have an Eichenwald thing, do we? We've only got one for Tariq Nasheed.
No, we got Tariq Watch.
Yeah, okay, well, have that queued up. Have that ready. So yeah, let's start with Kurt Eichenwald. So good news, Sam. You remember Kurt Eichenwald, the outrageous guy, pretended to have a seizure because someone sent him a strobing GIF, leveraged not just Twitter to share this guy's private personal information with a lawyer. Apple as well. Both of these big tech companies who supposedly value privacy and we're all about open and free speech. All these lies they tell you. They just fucking rolled over and gave him up for fucking candy bars. Turns out the guy who sent the strobing GIF, which, by the way, on Twitter, you have to enable strobing, which I don't think somebody who was chronically epileptic with photosensitive epilepsy would do. I don't think you would enable strobes and animated GIFs on your Twitter account. And he's always on Twitter. He must know how it works. Well, anyway, the guy who was accused of sending the GIF is a veteran. He was a former Marine, John Rain Ravello, and so already I like this guy compared to Eichenwald, right? But anyway, prosecutors have actually decided now that they're dropping federal charges against the Marine, but he does have some charges left to answer. So he's still got to face a charge of aggravated assault, and Kurt Eichenwald is trying to charge him with a hate crime. So yeah, you can read a bit more about it here. It says Ravello's attorney, David Greger, told the newspaper his client, who suffers from PTSD, is thrilled that the Department of Justice dropped the exaggerated charges. A review of direct messages from the account itself, called @Jew_Goldstein,
doesn't do great for his defense. Not the ideal user.
I'm sure his defense lawyer was like, they're trying to charge you with a hate crime. Any particular reason for that? Yeah, the account was called @Jew_Goldstein, and I tweeted a strobing Star of David at a Jewish person. Right. We'll see what we can do, homie. We'll see what we can do. But anyway, so it made references to Eichenwald, according to a criminal complaint obtained by the Dallas Morning News. It said, "Let's see if he dies," said one tweet. Another message said Eichenwald deserved to have his liver pecked out by a pack of emus, which I don't see the problem with that tweet. That's creative, Sam.
That's just a meme.
Yeah, just a meme, isn't it? So yeah, they traced the account. So the federal charges are dropped, but the rest of the trial is ongoing. But the good news is the federal charges were dismissed without prejudice. So yeah, it could be refiled, but the chances are they're not going to pursue it because it would be a waste of time. So Eichenwald was going fucking crazy. Let me tell you who else has gone crazy. Of course, I'm gonna get the tweet ready for you. Fuck me, dude. Where is it? This is the wild. Tariq Nasheed is a wild dude. Like, we all know that, right? But this is perhaps the most wild tweet. Because here's the thing: when you interpret media, you can apply your reading to it. You know, you can say, "Oh, here's a feminist interpretation of Fight Club," right? You apply feminist theory to it, and you say, "And this is what I think this means." So when he puts everything through the prism of white supremacy, obviously that makes sense. Because you can say everything's racist if you want to, and indeed that's what a lot of these intersectional people can do. Anyway, I'll let you in. Yeah. Just do it, dude. Just do it.
Here we go.
Wash your ass. You got to wash your ass. You got to wash your ass. Wash your ass. You got to wash your ass. You got to wash your ass. Wash it. Wash it.
Right. So we haven't been paying attention to Tariq Nasheed for a while. And that's just for my own mental health, right? That is just for my own mental health. So what do you think Tariq Nasheed could possibly think is racist this week?
Food.
Close.
Close? Drinks. Animals.
Well, somebody did tweet something at me saying that he'd called snow racist. Saying that it was confirmed white supremacist weather.
That's literally like, remember, did you watch Balls of Steel in the UK? There was a guy, Militant Black Guy, I think it was called, the name of the skit. And he'd go in and he'd just like bait him into something. He's like, oh, I'm looking for a single. It's called, it's a Christmas song. White Christmas? White Christmas! You just say White Christmas!
Yeah, my favorite one of that was fucking the one where he goes, oh, he went into like a travel agent and he said, oh, I'm looking for a holiday. I'm looking for a holiday. And I want to go somewhere that's cheap and in the UK. Maybe a place that has like a tower and lots of entertainment. And the guy goes, oh, somewhere like Blackpool. And he goes, Blackpool? Yeah. You want to put all the blacks in the pool? Like, he was just like, dinosaur, is that how it is, you cracker? I was like, it was fucking hilarious. So, yeah, that was actually pretty good. But yeah, he was complaining about fucking snow. He deleted the tweet apparently.
What if you piss in the snow? It's not white yet.
Got him. I'll hang on. I'll see if I can dig out the tweet. I did save it because I thought this is going to be Dr. Delito. Let me just see. Hang on. Just so you can show it in all of its absurdity. There it is. Yeah. There's the image. UK confirmed white supremacist country. Snow is violence.
Snow is violence.
But then, like, look at this though, because I can't stay there. He also went on a big fucking tangent about romantic novels for women, right? Of all the things to get upset about being racist.
The creator of The Art of Mac, like.
Right, the creator of The Art of Mac, the writer of Wash Yo Ass. Basically what he was saying was that white supremacy has fucked the minds of black women in America, and all of these romantic novels written by black women are, again, what examples of white supremacy at work. So he put this tweet out, mate, you've got to look at some of the titles of these books though. I was fucking straight buckled, right? So look at this. Tariq Nasheed, it's amazing that there is a whole genre of bedwench books written by people of color, female authors, who fantasize about having children with white men. White supremacy has really done damage to the minds of its victims. And just look at this one, American Billionaire's Caribbean Dream. Look, it's got it.
WWM, pregnancy romance.
Yeah, it's got its own fucking genre.
This is his second book, mate, from the author of Just a Number. Age is just a number.
Look at this now, look at this. Jamelia Jasper meeting the twins. And then look at those twink motherfuckers on either side. So I was following these tweets with interest, dude. And Tariq Nasheed put another fucking tweet out, and there's some bangers in this one, dog. Like, look at this. All right, he like 'em thick. He like 'em thick. He like 'em thick. We all like 'em thick, Sam. Right? Big, mature, and still got it.
You just cut out the end of that one.
And to love a big woman.
With just a kid there for no reason. Why do all the pictures just got their heads cut off?
Oh, man. It's white supremacy, probably. Oh, my God. He really is a fucking gift that keeps on giving, isn't he, the Tariq Nasheed, dude? I fucking love this guy. I fucking love him so much. If he didn't exist, you'd have to invent him. So, pretty good. But there you go. So I do keep an eye on Tariq Nasheed, from time to time. So obviously we're at our 2-hour mark. People are saying, "Oh, we're going to get into the Keaton Jones stuff." I think we'll do it.
Yeah, what is it about that? I just read just now, like, it's fake or something, and his family are like
All right, well, we'll get into it tomorrow, but I'll just give you the cliff notes so you can be prepared for tomorrow. So basically, there was this viral video of a kid who has a cleft palate and some scars on his head. So I'm guessing he's had some developmental problems when he was younger. And as a result of that, obviously, he gets bullied at school, which is fucking shit. And he was crying in a car, and his mother filmed it. And he was asking, like, why do bullies do it? Like, what's the problem? Like, what and at the end, it sort of ends with him going, it'll probably get better one day. And the video obviously went viral because nobody likes bullying. Everyone loves the underdog. It blew up on Reddit. And then everybody started chipping in and wanted to show that, like, listen, kid, you're not alone. And, like, obviously there's a degree of cynicism involved in this when a big corporation says, oh, look at that thing that's going viral. How can we get involved in that? But, I'm not going to be too harsh about that because it's a nice gesture for a kid who's probably suffered a lot, So Delaney Walker, sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, the tight end from the Texans. He was one of the first prominent people to offer him tickets to come to a tight. Is it the Texans?
Yeah.
He's with, or is it Tennessee Titans?
I don't know. What's his name?
Is it with the Delaney Walker? I should know that. Fuck me. I think he's a good player too. I've had him in a fantasy team.
Delaney Walker plays for Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans. My bad. So he plays for the Tennessee Titans, and he was one of the first people to come out. He did a little video, read a poem from Buddha about, how you can be positive and stuff, and then said, like, I got 4 tickets for you and your family. Please come and watch a game. And then other people started getting involved, and then it was like, do you want to come here?
Chris Evans from the Avengers.
Yeah. Everybody started reaching out to him and saying, like, so basically for the rest of this, for 2000, right the way through 2018, this bullied kid, Keaton Jones, is going to have a great life. He's going to get to do all this awesome, cool shit. And who could possibly begrudge him that? But this is the internet era. So I woke up today, pre-taco shit, and I was like just looking at Twitter, and Milkshake Duck was trending. Now, Milkshake Duck is one of the most terribly forced leftist memes I've ever seen. It's garbage. It's not funny at all. But just in case you're not aware of what the Milkshake Duck meme is, and again, I'll repeat myself tomorrow, but there'll be different people watching as well, so it'll be okay. Basically, some guy tweeted out saying, the whole internet loves Milkshake Duck, a lovely duck that drinks milkshakes. And then 5 seconds later, we regret to inform you the duck is racist. It's just not funny. It's terrible. But it is, I suppose, a comment on our times in social media and how it's like we're very quick to praise people, and then we're also very quick to condemn. And it's always binary, right? It's always you're either the worst human being alive or the best. Nobody understands that some people are going to be assholes and, and still be capable of doing good things. And people who can live their life and do entirely good things and be generally good people can be wrongfully condemned for like the one bad thing that sort of blows up, that people don't exercise nuance. You're either an angel or a demon, and you can be one or the other at any given moment at any time. So in that sense, the tweet's quite prescient. So what do you think happened, this being the internet era? Keaton Jones, this kid, who could possibly have a fucking issue with this kid getting all this stuff and being fucking treated nicely by all these celebrities? Well, it turned out that people started digging into the mother's past, and they managed to find a picture of the kid stood next to a Confederate flag.
Yeah, that's right. So.
Yeah, and then, they found, some Facebook posts where she's like, also, with Holton, where she stood next to Confederate flags, lots of pro-American rhetoric. She messaged somebody basically saying, I thought white people were supposed to stick together. So all of this comes out. And now people are like saying, well, we can't do anything good for the kid because the mother's set this up to get attention for herself, and she's racist, and she's a dirtbag, and she's a scumbag. Now, I certainly hope people don't start walking back their support for a child.
They will.
For the child.
100% will, mate.
Because what does that tell? What does that say about society, you know. What is that? You know, like it's even crueler to fucking give the kid all access to all this cool stuff, and then now
wreck him again.
And wreck him. Yeah.
Oh, you're being bullied. Yes, all this cool shit, but I'm taking it away. You're scum of the earth.
Yeah, and I also saw as well some really disturbing assessments. And this is what I mean. This is why the internet is fucking garbage. And anybody who belongs in these mobs that mob up and, yeah, get him. Let's get him. My life's shit, so let's get them. Right? Those people, right, they're just scum. You know, if you've ever done it again, you're just scum. You know, people were saying now, you know, like, oh, the kid deserves to get bullied now. Now we know why.
Reasonable.
Yeah, what? Because your mother makes you stand next to a Confederate flag. How old's the kid?
He doesn't know what the fuck that is, does he?
Yeah. I mean, well, not even that. The person who can be the most abusive and has the most influence. You only got to see the bullies for a few hours a fucking day. I got to live with my mother. You know, if she's beating the shit out of me because I won't stand next to a wacky Confederate flag and KKK fucking memorabilia, you know, I got to get cigarettes stubbed out on my fucking back because I refuse to hold the Confederate flag. No, I'm probably going to hold the fucking flag. Sorry, I'm a kid. People, yeah, well, he deserves to get beaten up now every day. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help the kid get a nice, healthy grasp of the world. Do you know what I mean? So, and again, if you think that's like just one or two people, it isn't. People are like, yeah, well, that's why the kid gets bullied. Ha! Racist kid. Ha! Right. Because you dug up dirt on the mother. You want to fuck over the kid. But yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I fucking can't understand that, dude. You know, it's just madness. It's just madness. So yeah, but we'll get into that tomorrow. And yeah, and I think that's everything. I think we'll leave the show here. I want to talk about August Ames' suicide as well. You see that?
No, I haven't actually.
Well, you know the porn adult entertainment actress August Ames. Well, she committed suicide.
Oh wait, I think I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like an interesting topic there. Yeah. She was saying something that maybe was unpalatable, but ultimately it doesn't really matter because it's like your body, your choice, right? Like, okay, so if I come out and say to you, Sam, I don't want to sleep with anybody that's ever slept with a guy. Which I don't know how that would work, but whatever. I only exclusively date lesbian women to be safe, right? You would say, wow, that's a really fucked up, ignorant thing to do and way to limit your prospects. But that would probably be the end of the debate because, like, who I sleep with is definitely my personal choice. Shouldn't be shamed for it. Shouldn't be abused for it. Not what happened in her case. She said she didn't want to do any scenes with any men who had done gay scenes because, and she didn't say why. But obviously the implication is that doing so might be more dangerous. And again, it goes back to the stigma around gay people and AIDS, which is ignorant. We've already said that on the show. But I'm not going to tell a woman who she can and can't fuck or shame her for making choices based around that. Well, this blew up and a bunch of people were all telling her to fucking kill herself. And she killed herself. So, again, good job, hate mobs. Keeping it real. You know, let's use one of the great tools for communication and enlightening our horizons and broadening our horizons and interacting with each other. Let's just use that to drive people to suicide constantly, shall we? Why not? It's what it was intended for, clearly. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I said I was going to end on something upbeat, and now I fucked it because I'm talking about suicide. So, I can't pull it back.
Oh, I'll see you. Peace.
I think that literally should just be the end of the show. So, yep, see you all tomorrow. Bye.